Hello everybody, hope you can hear me. So hope you enjoyed your lunch and are ready to talk about designing a bit. First, a couple of words about me. I am the CEO and CTO of MindMagnet. We have a web agency of 30 plus employees. I'm a developer at base, and we have a strong focus on Magento and custom PHP. We are also the organizers of Meet Magento Romania. So, to jump right in, we all love good designs. But the questions we wanted to ask is, what do users actually want? So we ran a survey using a service in Romania on medium and high income households from an urban area and who are shopping online. We interviewed over 1,400 shoppers, and this was done in April. I would say that the Romanian market is probably quite similar to the Polish one, so I'm hoping that most of the principles and figures I'm going to present are making sense here as well. So, 60% of users said that design is very important, and 26% said that design is somewhat important. So this means that over 86% of users pay attention to design and prefer a nice design. Then almost 90% of users said they want the website they use to be easy to use. And being asked about their favorite stores, 93% were happy with its design, 93% were happy with its usability, so we're seeing the same figures there. 76% were happy with the texts being presented on the website, so with the copywriting, and 92% said that they save time when shopping on it. Info that matters to the users, so what are they paying attention to when they are shopping on a website? Beside obviously the details on the products, 50% said that they want details on the delivery time for the product, 45% need details on returns, so how can they return the product if they don't like it or doesn't match their size, for example, if you're talking about fashion. Almost 45% want details on warranty. This is especially true when we're talking about electronics, so warranty is an important aspect to them. And 75% said they need the invoice. Now, this is particularly true to Romania when you're shopping for a company because you absolutely need the invoice for deducting that expense. But I'm thinking that holds true for Poland as well. And almost 40% want good filters above everything. So what do you get if you get a good design? We found that you increase your credibility because 76% of the users said that if they like the website from a design perspective, they're more likely to buy from it. This means that your website having a nice design increases the credibility you have in front of your first-time shopper. Increases conversion. So almost 65% of users said that they previously abandoned a purchase on a website they found frustrating. They couldn't find the details they wanted, they couldn't understand the process or get to the place they wanted to go. And 67% of them never returned to that website to shop again. So once you lose a client by frustrating him with your website, you lost him for good. And you also increase loyalty by having a good design. 76% of users said that they enjoy shopping on a shop that has a good design, and more than 77% of them would never recommend a website that has a bad design. So why is design hard? Design is hard because you can focus on the wrong things. Too much content you think is important rather than what your users think is important. Too little details on product details or procedures of how shopping works or return work. Assuming that your users know things about the products that you're selling. And this is quite easy to do because you're an expert in whatever you're selling, so it's easy to think that the users will also have at least some medium knowledge of the thing that they would be browsing. Another problem is only focusing on the happy flow. So the happy flow is that you're thinking about a user who has plenty of times, lots of experience shopping online, he's a connoisseur in your line of products, and has no concerns regarding your store, so he trusts you absolutely. These are assumptions that you can make with the happy flow. That user wants to buy one of your most popular products, so you're expecting him to easily find what they are looking for, and are paying with your principal payment method and running into no issues. After that, the order goes perfectly, the delivery is on time, he actually purchased the product you have on stock, so no need for back order, and everything goes smooth. So this is the happy flow that you're assuming your users would have. But in reality, users are in a rush. They might need to leave home in 15 minutes to pick up the kids. They might be in a rush to purchase the product now, so it gets to them in time for an anniversary that they're buying for. The products that they're buying is going to fit them, so they won't need any details on return because, of course, the shoes that they are buying is properly on their size and fits them well. And you can think of all sorts of issues that a user might run into with purchasing the products. So this is not the happy flow, this is reality, and a good design also focuses on this. Also, another mistake is that you don't focus on the post-sale. You think that after your customer purchased from you, he went through the checkout, ordered the product, everything is done, the conversion was made. But they want to know when the delivery will happen. They might need the invoice. They might need to return a product. They need to send in the product for warranty. So offering clarity on how he can do this is something that will increase your user's satisfaction with your website. So evaluating and improving design. The first thing you would need to do is to create personas. So you might think of a 27-year-old woman working in advertising in an urban area with a high income and medium technical knowledge. Or a history teacher who is married, he has 2 children, or in high school, he has absolutely no technical knowledge, and he has a medium income, for example. You can think of Greg, who might be an active runner, he's a student, he has little income, and is quite technically savvy. Then, for this, then you create scenarios. A scenario is that the user wants to buy your product, he wants to check out and register and use an address and pay by credit card, so this would be something that's close to the regular flow you would be hoping for. Another scenario is that you are thinking of a user who wants to buy the product X from a category, and he doesn't want to spend more than a certain amount of money. Another scenario might be a user who wants to return a product. Then create dozens of scenarios and think about how your personas would deal with them. Then create a focus group. You are thinking of your picking personas and creating the focus group and running through them your scenarios and see exactly what issues they run into, how they can complete the task. You can use a software to track their activity. This kind of software monitors the screen and records what they are speaking about, and this is a very good thing to refer back to. Because in these interviews with the users, you won't actually bring in your whole team to sit and watch the user do things. They might be inclined to jump out at the user and explain how he should do things. And looking back at those recordings can really help you smooth out the problems. You can also run them through your competitor's website, which would help you see what they're struggling with there and what you might execute it well on, or things that they executed well on and you can then understand and implement on your design. Collect open feedback from them, so at the end of the interview ask them how they felt about the website, what they didn't like, what felt it was hard, what felt familiar, and what didn't feel familiar. And improve your website and then repeat with a new focus group. Of course, another very good thing you can do is do A/B testing. You're doing A/B testing to monitor conversions, so perhaps you can do A/B testing even on some areas that aren't focused on the user buying your products. This, of course, I'm sure you're quite familiar with how it works. You are running an experiment on your website. Your users are running through your current scenario, and then a certain subset of users is run through a different scenario, and then you have a metric that you measure and see exactly which of the 2 versions perform better. The winner version is then implemented as a default version, and you can repeat with other experiments as well. There are plenty of tools to do this, like Google Analytics, like Optimizely, Convert.com, and I'm sure that your developers can help you with setting this up. So how to create better designs? The basics are focusing on correct alignment and spacing of the items. These are things that you think your designer obsesses over, and you don't exactly understand why he pays so much attention to this, but this really is what makes a good design even better. You need to make things easy to scan for the user, so he can understand where the details of the products are, where the reviews are, where the product name is, where the SKU is. So if you create a good hierarchy, he can easily find the elements that he's looking for in that page without thinking too much. Then you also must respect layout conventions. So if generally the cart is in the top right corner and the logo is in the top left corner, it makes a lot of sense to try to adhere to these principles in order not to make your user think too much about the design and just understand what he can find where. Then, of course, you must focus on the mobile. So responsive web design has been the norm for years, and you must really understand how the user on mobile behaves, what is important to him, what isn't so important to him, and try to deliver a good experience. Here are some numbers of actual usage, and as you can see, the smartphone and tablets are having at least as a big of slice of the pie as the laptop and desktop computers have. People at their home late at night with the tablets in their hand, they're thinking about purchasing a product, they open it up and they just go for it. So you must make sure that your website runs smooth on these devices. Think about the size of the screen, think about the speed of the device, and try to optimize it in such a way that the user has a very good experience on that device. Then, tips for a good catalog. You would be thinking of your category tree and try to structure them in such a way that it makes sense for the user who maybe doesn't know your product lineup as well as you do to find the product that he's be looking for. This would be one thing that with experiments with the usability focus groups, you can really find, by assigning them a task to look for a certain product, you can see exactly if they're struggling with the categories or they understand exactly where to find what. For a good catalog, there's also the need for good filters, especially if you're if you're selling in certain categories, then the user might know pretty well what he wants to buy. For example, if he wants to buy a TV, he's probably already made up his mind about the size of the TV, about the brand of the TV. So offering him filters so that he can quickly get to the product that he's looking for is another very good way to increase user satisfaction. Then you must have a very good search. Your search must handle synonyms, and these can be close synonyms like optical drive and DVD, or distant synonyms like, which one was this? I took a note about this, 1 second. Never mind, I'll look back to it. Then brand names like Wi-Fi instead of 802.11b. Then branded names and different spellings of the products that they may be looking for. Plurals, which can be simple or complex in English. And acronyms. This, of course, depends from a country to another, a language to another, but making sure that your search returns result for all of these items is a very important thing. Then you must also handle frequent misspellings, like the brand names with two L's, with a single L, with two P's, a single P. Then category names or product names or details they might be misspelling, or even authors and artist names where, of course, the user might know the name but doesn't know exactly how to spell that name. So looking at your search data and understanding what your users are searching for and what they can't find, and then making improvements to the search so that they can find the products that they are looking for is also another good way to increase user satisfaction. You can also be prepared for mixing specifications. So for example, if you're selling in fashion, your user might be mixing gender with the product name. So might be looking for women's sweater or man shoes. So your search understanding this is also a very good way to return results. Mixing prices and products, maybe he's looking for €200 tablet and you want to understand this and return a result for it. Mixing product details with product names, mixing specifications with the product's sizes with the product, so maybe he's looking for 38 size running shoes. You might want to understand that and return the products that have that size, that carry that size. And you want the search to be fast, accurate, and relevant. have order by functionality and possibly even filters too, so he can filter out the products from the search results, and also offer something when no results are found. So this is a good place where you can try to understand part of the search and maybe offer products from that category, since it's a good place to try to sell something to the user. With most of these things, there are technical solutions to this, and your developers can help with this. You just need to know to focus on these things and think about it when you're thinking about your users. Then some tips for a good checkout. Clarify the terms early on. So how much the shipping cost. It's quite bad to surprise your user inside the checkout with some shipping costs he doesn't expect. So try to clarify this as early as possible, preferably even from the product page. If you're offering free shipping for the products, let them know from the product page. If you're charging for shipping, try to let them know from that point. Nobody wants surprises in the checkout. Don't ask for more details than you need. Of course, here in Europe and in Romania in particular, we have some requirements. If you're purchasing for a company, we require all those sort of details like VAT number and company registration number, bank account. But if you don't have to ask for something in the checkout, don't ask for it. Just let the user get through with the checkout and complete the purchase. And also allow the entry of the coupon code in the checkout. Users are expecting to start the checkout process, they have a coupon code, and especially if they don't go through the cart page and jump directly into the checkout, at a certain point they're going to look for the coupon code. And having to go out of the checkout into the cart page to enter the coupon code is just something that it's a big risk to lose your user on that side. So our view, for example, for a checkout, we created an extension for this. We can chat about it later in the break. But we think that the user should get through the registration guest or login in the first step, then have the shipping in order he can provide his shipping address and the shipping method, and then go through the billing and the payment on the same step, and finally have everything in including the product details and the entering of the coupon code in something that's familiar like an invoice. This is something that we saw on the Apple online store doing, and it was a flow that was quite easy to understand where you're at and what's next for you in order to complete your checkout. Then tips for good support. Provide details on delivery time on the product page, of course. Have both instant and non-instant support. In our survey we ran, we found that 50% of the users want to use chat or phone so that they can resolve the the problem right away. 33% of them preferred email or help desk, and 15% preferred to not use support at all. So these users want to figure things out on their own and would like to maybe access an FAQ section of your website to understand how something works. They rather not contact support. This might be different from a country to another. For example, in Germany, I know people aren't that used to phone support and are more used to email support, so the percentages might look different there, but make sure you are offering something for all your users and an easy way to contact you. And of course, answer the most frequent questions inside your website. If you have a help desk solution or are tracking what phone calls you receive and what support you give out, then the things that come up quite often will probably drive your support team to writing a help desk article and explaining this to feature users. So that would drive down the amount of support that they require. And make it easy to ask for help. So don't hide a phone number or chat or help desk or FAQ articles deep inside your website. Try to make it as easy as possible for them to contact you, because I think you'd rather be contacted by a user than lose a sale with them. So before I finish, a few things about design trends that are popular today. So one design trend is a clean, simple, and functional website with big pictures, with a lot of white space, with focus on typography, and the sizes of the fonts in report to one another creates the hierarchy in the content, and people understand what's important and what's secondary to that product. Using of vibrant colors and the black and white contrast is also a quite popular trend today. Then good typography and storytelling, and this is if you're selling some types of products, maybe products that you're manufacturing or a a small number of products, it makes a lot of sense to focus on them and tell a good story about these products. Big impactful images, product videos, if they're needed. And here is, for example, an example of the Tesla website. I see the animation didn't load up the entire picture, but I invite you to go to their website or to the Apple website, and you'll see that even if Tesla isn't an e-commerce website, look at how they're describing their product. They are using big images, they are explaining technologies that are involved in the product. This is the storytelling that your user needs to be convinced to purchase the products. So that was the presentation, and now we can have some questions. Hopefully answers too. No questions? Okay, you can find me in the break, and maybe we'll talk more one-on-one. Thank you.